your life was a video game, what video game would it be? Because me, I think I would be a mixture of Cookie Clicker and RuneScape. Because I'd be smacking the fuck out of the trees, hitting the gym, and getting it in, and reading books, and dissociating and staring at the wall. Fuck it, we ball. Fire family. Stay lit, stay positive. It is Mars Day with Mark. 130. Oh, buddy. 130 weeks? Are you kidding me? That's a long time. You guys see the chart? Do you see the sky? Welcome to Earth, man. It's Mr. Meyer with the fire here to take the collective vibe higher. And hey, we got a beautiful week ahead of us, guys. So get excited. Hit the like button if you like the video, or hit it because you like me. Or maybe you don't need a reason to hit the like button, but it helps me out tremendously. I do appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Let's get right into it, guys. Today, we do have some news. We have some ingress action this week. Mars goes into Capricorn, Mercury moves into Sag, and we're going through the halfway point of Sagittarius. So let's break down the degrees. I'll show you and you can see where the planets are. Today, ignore the houses because this is local. Feel free to go find your own software, whether it's Solar Fire, Ephemeris, or Astro Gold, or etc., and be able to check these yourself because you don't got to take my word for it. But anyway, today the sun is in Sagittarius, 18 degrees. The moon is waning through Leo. That means the new moon comes soon. That's going to be news for next week, though. Okay, guys? We've got Mercury in Scorpio at about 27 degrees. Venus is at 11 Sagittarius. Mars is at 25 Sag. Jupiter is retrograde at 23 Cancer. Saturn is direct at 25 Pisces. Uranus is retro at 28 Taurus. Neptune is at 29 Pisces. Neither retrograde or direct. It is stationing. If you can see the S on the chart, that's what that means. It's about to get started. Pluto is direct in Aquarius 2 degrees. At the end of the week, which is December 16th, so to be very clear, my friends, this is from the 9th to the 16th. That's the week we're looking at. The sun will move up to 25 Sagittarius. So we've got a little less than 2 weeks left of Sagittarius before we slide into Capricorn, and we're going to go hard. The moon will be somewhere around Scorpio at the end of the week, next Tuesday. We're going to have Mercury moving up to 6 degrees of Sagittarius, my friends. Venus moves to 20 Sag. Mars moves to 1 Cap. Oh my goodness, get excited. And then you've got Jupiter still at 23, Saturn still at 25. Everything else is literally in the same degrees. And that south node is creeping back through Pisces. And we don't talk about this a lot. And a lot of people don't talk about this at all. But the black moon Lilith, she is at the 29th degree of her sign, the anaretic degree, guys. So we're going to touch on that in just a sec. But let's take it bit by bit and kind of peel it backwards, because I really want you to remember, if you take nothing from this video besides this, just remember, you are a star. And you're like, me? Yeah, you. He can't be talking about me. Yes, you. With the face. Yeah, he said, I don't have a face. You with the consciousness. You are a star. Yeah, 100%. Principle of correspondence, as above, so below. Don't drink the Florida water. You guys thought I was about to do it, huh? Gotcha. Okay, but anyway, the spirit of Sagittarius. You guys know the sun is the one that we revolve around, and all the other planets revolve around. So it's not to say that any planet is more or less important than others, but I think if any planet disappeared, you would notice the sun's absence first, because it lights up our world. It gives us that energy. Have you guys ever looked at the sun? Let me know in the comments down below. I got a lot of questions today. You guys usually come to me for questions. I'm coming to y'all for questions. What video game would you be? And then number 2, have you looked at the sun? Have you ever had that experience where you're like looking away from it and then your vision is like blotted out? You ever had a staring contest with the sun? Yeah. Wait for you to blink. I'm not going to blink. So the sun in astrology really shows us our energy and our spirit and the drive. And this is a tropical astrology video. This is a sign of the times. Sagittarius, it's the holiday season, so whoop-de-doo and jickery-dock. And we're trying to read God's little clock. And bro, okay. Why the fuck, bro? Ugh. I'm not trying to be a spaz, man, but I'm trying to hold back my frustration. Sagittarius is the archer. It's the teacher, the traveler. This sign deals with things that are foreign and different and out there, man. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet that deals with our belief structure, our optimism, the meanings we have. Sagittarius really is about like religion or lack thereof, or philosophy even. And I just got frustrated a second ago, and I know you heard it if you're listening, because there's people in this world that'll say, like, you don't believe in astrology, do you? And the truth of the matter is, you don't have to believe in it. You can go outside and look at the sun. You can look at the ephemeris and the data, and then we can draw a correlation, which doesn't always mean causation, right? But this is not independent or interdependent on belief. This operates independently from belief. So Sagittarius is the journey of life, right? And we all are going through some type of journey. Everybody has Sagittarius in their natal chart, even if there were no planets there when you were born. There weren't any planets in my Sag when I was born, but I still have it in my chart. Everybody has an idea of what the world is and what it means and a set of beliefs. Even if those beliefs look like, oh, I don't really know what's going on. Because truth be told, man, I got way more questions than answers. And lately, I'm going to express my frustration because this is personal. I'm using my sun to talk about the sun. I've been seeing the world going through changes, guys. And what I really am excited to see is decolonization, unindoctrination, and love. Love. Some say love is our natural state of being, and I'm not sure if I truly believe that, but I know love exists in the universe. I'm certain of that. And I think that there's two types of habits. There's the things that we do, and then there's the things that we don't do. And I say that to say why I'm excited is that it looks like the barriers of belief that separate people are starting to fade over time. This feels like a tale of two cities. If you guys have been living on Earth with me, watching the world and the current events, The Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I've never read the book, I'm going to be quite honest, but the first page, Tale of Two Cities, he says, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, and it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light and the season of darkness. So I bring this up just to say that, man, a lot of this world seems to be divided on belief, and sometimes you can't really reason with people that are stuck in their beliefs. And I think there's something to be said right now about Jupiter, the planet that rules over Sagittarius, being exalted in the sign of Cancer. I believe I did bring this up in the last episode or maybe the one before it, but you got to keep in mind Jupiter loves to be in Cancer. Maybe a little too much. Okay? And when we talk about this line of reasoning, the astrological tradition, like what planets belong where and how they operate, it really is created to describe the archetypes of the planets. So Sagittarius and Pisces are the homes of Jupiter. And if you know anything about Jupiter, guys, that's a big planet. It's huge. It's a gas giant. It's got an aura and so much size. So this reflects the big picture, Sagittarius. But also it talks about our deeper belief in what connects us all, Pisces, right? So when we talk about Jupiter being exalted in Cancer, the reason Jupiter does really well here is because that planet of growth and optimism and meaning is now in the sign of the crab, which is emotional, intuitive, internal, and even security oriented. So on some level, this is a good thing. Some level, it's a bad thing. On I think a bigger and more true level, it's neither good nor bad because these are human perceptions. But I will say that the beauty of Jupiter and Cancer that we're gonna have for a whole year. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, FYI. But we'll have about 2 more weeks of Sag. The beauty of Jupiter Cancer is that things start to make a little bit more sense. Our inner guidance gets a little bit louder. There's a feeling of comfort or optimism. At worst, it's emotionally led beliefs. Okay. And that's not reasonable. Let's just be clear and use our intellect to think about this. Reasoning deals with cognition, math, intellect. It's not to say that your heart can't lead you in a proper direction, but I'm saying that if your fears, your insecurities become the basis of your worldview, you have a very limited worldview. And you will see people arguing against all types of reasonable things like love and inclusion because, oh my God said we're supposed to persecute this person. Well, why do you believe that? I just feel like I've met Jesus, for instance. And I don't really want to pick smoke or have beef with Christians today, man. That's not my intention of making this video. Because I will say there's good Christians, there's bad Christians, there's good atheists, and there's bad atheists. And at the end of the day, these perspectives are human opinions. But I think we can all agree that if we all got along and worked together, the world would be a little bit better, right? I heard something recently by Russell Brunson. He was talking about creating a movement and like how you create influence in this world. And, without polarity, people don't really gravitate towards things. People want to know that you agree with them and that you would throw rocks at their enemies. And, I'm a Libra moon, just for reference. I feel everybody and I feel connected. I want people to like me, but at the end of the day, I want to like myself more than I want others to like me. That's the Leo sun in me. So I'll tell you, who do I want to throw rocks at? Oh man, am I about to inspire violence? Really, nobody if it was possible, and it is possible. But who I want to throw rocks at are the ones who throw rocks at people for no fucking reason. People who need to throw rocks at others to feel better about themselves. I think that's lame as fuck. That reflects not having enough meaning in your own life, that you have to take it away from others to find it. That's bullshit. All right. But anyway, bless your heart if you're listening to this video. Bless your heart. We're off in the deep end already, kind of touching the Pisces water, but let's take a second to reel it back because that's the season of the sun is beliefs and philosophy and travel. And a lot of things are expanding right now because of the nature of Sag season. Of course, New Year's Eve, that's going to run us through Cap when we turn the wheel of the calendar, But I'm saying that at this point right now, a lot of us are thinking about the future. A lot of us are thinking about the journey we just had. This kind of is a liminal space. One could argue that's always liminal, but I'm talking about the space between the old year and the new year, between Yule and Samhain and Yule. This is very much transitory. This is like a space beyond space, a time beyond time. It's pretty freaking cool. So perspective is everything right now, guys. And I think at best, this energy in the collective is really reflecting a more open-minded approach towards life. So let me talk about the moon for a second and we can kind of get through this rhythm. The moon is going to wane all week, my friends. When we end and start the next episode next Tuesday, we're still going to be waning, but the moon will make its way into Scorpio. So that being said, the moon has been in Leo all day. It's been making some interesting aspects to other planets. By the time you hear this, we're talking about the past, but tomorrow the moon goes into Virgo on Wednesday. It's going to be there for about 2 to 3 days. We're going to have our quarter moon this week on Thursday. So that's really cool. This week really does talk about adjustment and what changes you need to make, letting go, for instance. Hope you guys had a beautiful full moon last week too, by the way. The Virgo moon is going to be opposing Saturn and Neptune. So just keep that in mind also, is that this week looks like a week to get a lot of stuff done, to make those adjustments regardless if you feel like doing it. I think also there's going to need to be extra self love, TLC, and care with that Moon Saturn angle, the Moon squaring up with Mars. We have a lot of mutable signs. Let me tell you guys something. Let me back up. I know this is kind of a jump off the moon, but where we start today, there's a very interesting aspect. I was rattling off the degrees, but do you see that Mars is square to Saturn? 25 Sag, 25 Pisces. So there's a 90-degree angle here. And the Mars Saturn angles, these planets are beyond Earth, right? So they move a little slower in their cycle. But I will just say that this week definitely feels a lot more optimistic and lighthearted than last week. The squares, or hard angles, I should say, between Mars and Saturn can be very difficult. Can feel like our energy, our Mars, is being blocked. Saturn. I don't know about you guys, man, but yesterday when we had the perfect square, I got my business done, but I promise you, I spent a lot of time kind of immobilized by my own energy and just pessimism and sadness, dude. Saturn energy. You gotta thank Saturn for the lessons, man, but it is not easy being alive, man. And I'm not trying to be negative because it is easy being alive if you're living in a flow state and you can be grateful and appreciate things. But when we talk about these consciousnesses of planets, I don't know if consciousnesses is a word, plural consciousness, consciousness. When we talk about the consciousness of a planet, you have to raise your consciousness to be able to connect with it. Some people never will. And I don't say this to sound high and mighty and put myself on a self-righteous high horse. I'm just trying to say, guys, that Saturn, and you can look at this in all the astrological texts, will deal with our past, our ancestors, the responsibilities of our life. And the vision of Saturn is about understanding. Life comes with some sorrow. And if you look at this through the Kabbalistic text, you'll see this is the vision of sorrow. Even birth hurts, One of the first things you probably did, more people, more often than not, the first thing we do in life is we cry. As we exit the womb and we feel new life and have to use our lungs for the first time, and it's very uncomfortable. It can be frustrating. It can even be sad. What your dog experiences when you go to work, separation anxiety, is how we experience birth. And we come into this world from a space of unity, non-dual consciousness, and then jump into the school of hard knocks. The original separation anxiety from source. For my astrologer geeks out there, that concept is reflected by the natural inconjunction from Aries to Scorpio, the quincunx, the 150, those two freaky signs. Aries said, I am. And then Scorpio said, well, I desire. And it's hard to understand both of those things because they have an interesting relationship. Who you are and what you desire. Or you could even talk about Scorpio as the control. We're all born helpless for the most part. I don't know anybody who was like, maybe Chuck Norris or whatever, born doing push-ups and making protein shakes. No, I had to take time to learn how to do that shit, to be honest. But anyway, let me talk about the Mercury placement that we got. Because the moon just tells us go with the flow and trust the process, man. At the end of the day gonna end. So you gotta take it a day at a time and try to be open to the possibilities that life has. Okay? You gotta create the future by being in the present. Okay? Mercury is making a big change this week, guys. Mercury in Scorpio, that's the powers of the mind intensified. And everything is more serious with Mercury in Scorpio. It's do or die, life or death. A lot of times it's more preferable to be silent with Mercury's in Scorpio. You'll notice that the words can cut like a blade, fam. Sometimes it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. When you express what's on your mind or even on your heart or soul deeper, you may get opposition because sometimes people don't want to talk about things. I'd seen a meme, I can't remember the exact words, but someone was like, Uncle, if we were dogs or we were a frog on a lily pad, he was like, man, shut the fuck up. I don't want to talk about that shit. It was actually in reference to Mercury Sag. So get ready for that, guys, because things are going to get a little bit sillier, I will say. Mercury in Scorpio is the dark winged messenger. It's confronting the shadows or talking about taboos or just shutting up entirely. And then you got Mercury moving into Sag on Thursday. All right, and that's the power of thinking big. By the way, Mercury is still in the post retrograde shadow. Mercury started its retrograde, I think, around 5 Scorpio. Thinking is ghetto, respectfully. I don't know why I said respectfully. Disrespectfully. Fuck it, dude. Well, this is the Mercury Scorpio. I'm blaming it on myself, man. Sometimes I gotta say something to feel something. Anyway, we're still catching up ground from Mercury's regression. Right? So what that genuinely means for a lot of us people on Earth is that we're catching up and we're organizing right now, okay? Mercury Scorpio will or Sag will be a theme for a second. We switch on Thursday, and then it's going to be about the power of thinking big and challenging new ideas. The shadow of Mercury Sag is exaggeration, overthinking, being too dramatic. Let me tell you guys that on Wednesday, before we go to Thursday, last time I checked, Wednesday was first, but on Wednesday, while Mercury moves to 28 degrees of Scorpio, it's going to go opposite to Uranus and Taurus. So I'm seeing light bulbs going off for the collective. The Mercury Uranus could be brief flashes of insight. It could be things really coming together. It could be innovation. It could be a mental fucking breakdown too. Mercury and Uranus are going through the full phase. Okay. And this is really about taking your unique ideas and putting them to the test. If your worldview, your perspectives, if they don't work, that's going to basically be confronted this week. And another thing about astrology, because that's what this is about, right? Astrology doesn't really cause life, it just reflects it. Some argue that it is a causal factor, but it's hard to really delineate that. But I will say that when we look at this in terms of mundane astrology, I bet you're going to see truth come to light this week in the news. We will see. Time will tell. But that's just kind of how the archetypes play out. You got Mercury, messages, Uranus, shocking revelations. Let's get it, gang. That's what I want to see. So anyway, let's kind of shotgun the rest of this. Venus and Sag. It's going to be a fun week. Don't spend all your fucking money unless you're investing it. And we've got Mars moving into what? Into what? Into Scorpio. No, I fucking messed it up. Damn it. Oh Lord. Mars just moved out the map. Mars moved into my ass. Oh hell no, bruh. Get the fuck out of there. Mars moved into Capricorn. I was wrong 5 times, man. But if you don't succeed at first, just filibuster. Nah, I play too much. Anyway, Mars and Capricorn, guys. This is actually a really cool thing. Cheers, man. Don't don't drink the Florida. Okay, what does this mean? That means desire, structured. Mars in Capricorn is about getting shit done, fam. So I'm telling you that you're gonna find a second win this week. I say win, I meant wind. You're gonna find yourself turning up, guys. This week is the lock-in, and you're gonna see with Mars in Capricorn that dog in you just wants to bark at everything. This is my life. Mars in Capricorn is working like a machine. It's about innate discipline, intrinsic motive, like the desire to achieve and to succeed and to be recognized. So self-control is important now more than ever. It's always been important, but with Mars in Capricorn, you're going to find this true desire to climb the mountain and hit the next level. And you're going to need to be aware of who you are and love yourself a lot so that you can get the job done and also clap for yourself and not need to push others down to feel better about yourself. We all experience these energies. They're available to all of us. Mars in Capricorn is about asserting your authority. And I think the best thing you can do is just mind your business and stay in your fucking lane, man. Because some people may, for the first time in a long time, or maybe first time ever in their life under these transits, kind of feel that need to express their power. And weak people do cruel things with their power, but strong people do beautiful things with their power. So I'll let you reflect on that, and I'll leave you with that as we go through the week. Blessed be, Fire Family. I love and appreciate you. I hope you can feel the love in this video for me taking the time to talk to you. Have a beautiful day and know that you do matter in this world. I know with this being Sagittarius, people can get kind of spaced out and feel like as we turn the wheel, cycle after cycle, the existential crisis can kind of hit some of us, man. So just understand that the meaning is the meaning you give it. Not having a meaning, in other words, nihilism, it is its own kind of vice if applied incorrectly. So be wise, be tactful, apply your knowledge with wisdom. And if you can let that be your main quest in the game right now, apply my knowledge with wisdom, I promise you're going to find positive change. Okay. But you also need to stack these wins. I just posted a video about this. Hopefully you guys are subscribed so you can see the new content that's coming out besides this podcast. I love you guys so much. Take care of yourself. All right. I'll see you soon.